Good evening. I am Kamau Kujichagulia, and this is On the Case with Kamau Kujichagulia, where each week we like to talk a little bit about what's going on in the city of Trenton. We like to have someone of interest to come on and talk about what they're doing in the city of Trenton or somewhere that affects us here in Trenton. So this week we're going to have Brother Akil Parker on again. He's a repeater, and it's because he has a lot more to say. But before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about reparations. Wait a minute. Wait. Let me bring on my son and partner here. Happy birthday, son.
Thank you, Pop. Thank you.
Happy. How are you?
I'm pretty good. And yourself?
I'm doing all right. For an old man.
Looking good over there.
Yeah, well, what you expect?
Looking good. I mean,
look at you, sure.
You know what it is.
Anyway, I think we're kind of like matching a little bit, aren't we? Almost, right?
Yeah, it's kind of,
It's good. It's good. Anyway, hi Dana. How are you, Dana? How are you? It's good to see you. Welcome to our show. Reparations. Well, no, I don't want to talk about reparations first. First, I want to talk about trucks. Trucks parking on the street. Now, the truck over on Southeast Field has been missing for the past couple of days. And today I saw it parked in the alleyway. So maybe somebody had a conversation with them, told them they couldn't have that truck there.
I saw police writing some tickets where they were at least standing out there looking like they were writing tickets.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that's the case. I really no, seriously, I am. But they know they had no reason to be parking their trucks on our streets. Yeah. We trying to look good, And the other one's down there at the end of West State Street. I tell you the address, 1482 West State Street.
1482.
Yeah, they're still there, and I know the city of Trenton bought that property because they bought it out from under the Nubian News. Okay, that's where our offices used to be. All right, so I know that the city owned it. Now, whether they sold it in the interim, I don't know.
Okay.
But if they haven't sold it, if it still belongs to the city of Trenton, then that means the city of Trenton is allowing trucks to be parked on our property, and I don't appreciate that. They don't park it on their own daggone property. But at least we got them off. We seem to be getting them off of our streets, and that's a good thing.
They seem to be doing some work.
Yeah, we do. I'm not going there. I'm not going to go there. Yes, they do seem to be doing some work. Okay. I haven't seen them do any work on that sidewalk.
No, they started taking the winter off.
Yeah, well, I don't know why. We ain't had no winter.
Well, it's gotten cold over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, they ain't got that cold. So, I'm not very happy about that situation at all. Maybe they going back to their engineers and they said, we have a problem. We need you to solve it. Maybe the engineers are working on the problem. They're going to come out in a couple days or weeks and solve the whole problem. Okay.
Right.
I know, what else? This past week, the city has had their men out there by the park, where all the trees are back there. They've been having a group of men in there cleaning up leaves underneath all those trees on the hill up there, So
they've also been cutting trees down in the park.
Have they?
Back in the park, there's a pile of big logs. Like you could just
firewood.
Well, yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Not big logs. I can't.
But I mean, it's like the big tree. I mean, it's got to be chopped down, because it's really huge,
Well,
Like it
anyway,
just
I stopped burning firewood anyway, so it don't make a difference.
okay.
You
What do you
know?
burn now?
Huh?
What do you burn?
I'm converting over to gas.
Ah,
Cause
okay.
burning that fireplace, that firebox, got to be a bit more work than I want to do anymore. You know, getting up and down and up and down and I said going out splitting wood and chopping wood, sawing wood. There's enough of that. You
Yeah,
know.
it was fun back in 2008.
What was
Well,
2008? Oh, when you were doing it?
yeah,
What you do?
I was chopping the wood.
Hmm. You was all broke up.
That got me back on my feet.
That's right. That's because that's what fathers do. They get their sons back on their feet.
I can't even argue.
So that's what's going on in Trenton. But oh man, I wanted to talk about they're having a show coming up.
I saw
Um,
that. I saw that.
what is it? Tell me about it.
I don't know much about it, but there's two guys that are apparently putting on a show. If we're talking about the same show, some celebrities.
Oh no, no, I was talking about a show with Oleta Adams.
No, that's not what I was talking about.
OLETA Well, she's going to be up in like Long Branch or somewhere up north. Why aren't you working? What is wrong with you? Oleta Adams. What is this? Go away. Anyway, I fell in love with Oleta Adams when she did a Christmas album. Oh, it must have been about 4 or 5, no, more than that. Must have been about 20 years ago, I guess. And that was the baddest album. No nobody else like it but me. Everybody else said, that's so slow song. She all slow and drawn out. I said, yeah, she is. You know? So, tour announcements. Full tour schedule for Oleta Adams. Explore. So she's gonna be in New Jersey in I don't know. They got cookies and stuff and all that. Anyway, Oleta Adams is coming to New Jersey. I think it's in April sometime. Okay, so if you're interested in Oleta Adams, go see her. Was Cat Williams around here recently?
I don't believe so. I think I would have
I
heard
mean,
that.
down Atlantic City.
He might have been, but I don't know.
I've been, I never much paid attention to Cat Williams until a couple, till this big blowout. I started looking at his stuff on YouTube. He's all right,
He's been lighting it up
he's all right.
lately.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
I mean, Club Shay Shay.
Yeah, so that's good. Brothers and sisters need to get as much exposure as they can. Make that money. That's all I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Anyway, we're talking about money, reparations. Where's Akil go? He ain't around here no more. There he is. Hey, brother, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Doing all right. I know I wanted to talk about reparations. So, but first, let's get into you. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
What's going on, brother? How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Happy birthday to you too. I saw on Facebook.
Thank you.
So today's your birthday.
Yeah, 25.
Okay. I'm
51.
52.
51, Pop. Come on. 51.
All right. Going on 60. That's all I know. So, brother, how you doing since the last time we spoke to you?
Well, man, I'm doing good. Progressing.
What's progress look like?
Still making YouTube videos for the community. I started doing Instagram reels with my daughter.
Instagram what?
Instagram reels.
Okay.
Reels like short 90-second videos, talking to the people about different ways where identifying where math is all around us and the little small opportunities that we have as parents to reinforce math skills and develop math skills with our children. And I think the more entertaining videos are the ones I do when my daughter's in the car with me, but the ones I do by myself, they're okay. But I'm not as entertaining as my daughter is, as Asada is. So
how old is your daughter?
She just turned 12.
Okay.
Last week.
What is her name again?
Asada.
Ah.
Yeah. Around the time she was born or going to be born, I had read Asada Shakur's autobiography, and that really influenced me heavily. So that's why I named her that.
Did you see that on social media? There's been like a cartoon story that was just told that was told about Asada and what she went through and her actual escape from prison.
No, I didn't see that. I would like to see.
Pay attention on social media. You'll see it floating around. It's actually very, very nice. Very nice look.
I'm gonna be on the lookout for.
So, brother, you've been progressing, man.
Yeah. This news story came out about the work I've been doing. CBS 3 News in Philadelphia. They actually interviewed me back in November, and the producers decided to hold the story till Black History Month and make it a Black History Month story. So at first I was a little disappointed that it wasn't going to air back in November, but then I realized that the timing is probably better, and I think it was good timing. It was pretty good timing. So
yeah, what was it about?
Just the work I've been doing with, teaching at Cheney in the past 5 years, being a high school math teacher for almost the past 20 years, starting all this math, doing math tutoring, and, also developing the YouTube channel and, which is basically free math tutoring. That's what the YouTube channel is meant to be. And, how it's culturally relevant and how, I infuse the videos with, Black history. So you can get the Black history, 365, So yeah, they were just kind of highlighting just some of the things, that I've been doing, and also talking about the larger, atmosphere around, mathematics education and the level of deficiency in the Black community. So, it really showed that, kind of reflecting on like, the work that I'm doing is very needed. So, they came up with some data in there.
Basically, anything you need with math, if you need to learn it, they can come to see you.
Well, I wouldn't say anything, but anything from arithmetic up to calculus 1.
Got you.
Yeah. If you need calc 2, calc 3, differential equations, linear algebra, I can refer you to some people.
Okay.
But anything from arithmetic, from fundamental math, counting, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, work with fractions, up and in between, calculus 1. I got some content for you.
Okay.
So how did you get into that?
Into math generally, or creating the YouTube channel, the YouTube videos?
Getting in math generally.
Well, honestly, let's see, the year was like 2005, and I had a baby on the way and needed a job. And my previous employer decided that my services were no longer needed. So I resigned from that job since they were about to fire me. And I ended up going into teaching. I started out doing substitute teaching, which then led to a full-time teaching position at a high school. Well, it was a 6 through 12. It was a middle school and high school down in South Philly.
Did you have a degree?
Well, not in education at the time. My degree was in finance.
Okay.
So I had a finance degree. So I transitioned over into education, and they needed a math teacher at the time, this particular school. So I started teaching math really because I was motivated because I had a baby on the way that I knew I needed to support, along with I needed to be able to co-parent financially with his mother. And now he actually tutors for the company now. That was 18 years ago. Actually, 19 years ago. So he'll be 19 later this year. But yeah, so that's how I got into math. I started teaching math. From there, I just, taught at a lot of different places, a lot of different programs, after school programs, Saturday programs like Upward Bound at Temple University, then Upward Bound at UPenn, just a bunch of different programs. And I just was honing my craft and just developing my skills. And then I just found myself needing to kind of create my own platform, so to speak, create my own space where I could educate. So all this math is really meant to be, it's really an institution that I'm building, even though it's more digital, but it's really, my goal is for it to be an institution and eventually have brick and mortar like locations where there can be like all this math centers like around the country.
Okay.
Young people can come in, not just young people, but adults, anybody from the community can come in, learn some math, and also, learn, history at the same time, similar to how, the Black Panther Party had the free breakfast program. Young people come in the morning, get some food, get some cultural awareness, get some political education. I like to have that type of structure, in different communities around the country. So this is like the foundation of it, like what we're doing online, just trying to meet the community where they are, and just like Amilcar Cabral talked about, Revolutionary Cabral, like talking about meeting the material needs of the people. So, young people need to understand how to do mathematics. Their parents need to understand how to do it so they can help their children.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, it's a good question. So they could develop their critical thinking ability, so they won't get taken advantage of. You won't get hustled, won't get scammed. So you can understand how things operate, things function in the world. And also, math enables you to problem solve, because math really is synonymous with problem solving. So when you're doing math, you're problem solving. That's why we call them math problems. So we want to solve the problem. So the same skills that you use when you're solving a math problem are, the skills that you could use in everyday life. So when people say that they're never going to use this stuff, that just shows me that they don't really know what math really is. And they've been confused about the actual definition of math. They've been confused and kind of duped into focusing too much on, the X's and the Y's and the numbers, instead of thinking about the deeper meaning, which is the process that you go through when you're solving math problems or solving equations, is really helping you to develop problem solving skills that are transferable.
I remember. I'm sorry, brother. I remember growing up and, my father teaching me how to do math, back in the day. And the process was really the most important part, but it was also the hardest part. It was also the struggle, with math. I got to a point where I was pretty good at it. I had a good teacher, but I completely understand what you're saying, brother.
Yeah. It develops a lot of character as well, like, discipline, being able to be perseverant, fighting and willing to be wrong, because you gotta do it bad before you can do it good sometimes. And a lot of people, they give up before they turn that corner and become good at it. It doesn't come easily to me, so I'm just not going to do it. That's the mistake a lot make. They quit too soon, and they never become good at it.
That's the way it is in I guess in most subjects, really.
Yeah.
I remember when I took chemistry 101, and I just shook my head, and I just kept shaking my head, and my grade indicated that I was still shaking my head. Then I took chemistry 102, and I shook some more. But I went back and I took them again, and I found the secret. You have to solve the problem. Mm-hmm. You have to, before you can solve the problem, you have to define the problem. Yeah. Okay? And once you do that, it just begins, it is math. Basically, it's pure math.
One of the things I think about a lot in terms of, when people have difficulty in different subjects, not even just mathematics, but the most important variable, I think, is the X variable, which represents time. it's the amount of time you have. Like, you think about a person that's taking a college course, and like when I teach my college courses, it's like, typical semester is like 15 weeks, 14 weeks, 15 weeks. And with the amount of content that is crammed into that 15-week semester, if you don't come into the class already having somewhat of a strong background in that subject, it's going to be very difficult for you to learn all of that material in that short amount of time, that short span of time. And I think that's something that a lot of people take for granted. Like, even on the high school level or the middle school level, a lot of the classes, the way they're structured, they really should be 2-year classes. They should be 2-year-long classes. Because what happens, I know, in public education, public school, charter schools, even in the private schools, the same thing happens, except a lot of times students in private schools, they're of oftentimes a different socioeconomic status. So they have the resources to get private individual tutoring, which really is a game changer. I think everybody should have a private tutor. I think everybody. So I think these rich Black folks with all these billions of dollars, I think they should start some programming to make sure every Black child in every community has a private math tutor, that they can meet with at least once a week. I think that should be an initiative that would really change things long term. But if you don't have enough time to really spend on one subject and one concept, because a lot of times when math concepts are taught, what ends up happening is teachers end up going, because of the pressures that they're under from administration, and the administration is under pressures from the superintendent or the state or whoever, and it's a high stakes testing environment. So the teachers end up going a mile wide, but an inch deep. So the students will be better served if the teachers were able to actually just focus in on not subjects, but topics within math, and just go deep into those topics. Because once you go deep into those topics, then you develop a deeper understanding of those topics. And then in subsequent topics, then the students can reflect on how they're a higher level of understanding, because it went deeper, right? Oftentimes we do this surface level stuff because we want to be able to say that we taught it. And I experienced that too when I was in the classroom, in a traditional classroom, whether it was me teaching at Overbrook or teaching at Central or teaching at World Communications Charter, Del Val, any school I taught at, or even a program I taught at. We don't go deep enough, because it's like, and then we might as well just slow down and just cover less topics and go deeper in those topics, because so many students end up, they either fail the class anyway, or if they pass the class, they passed it, but they still don't know the subject.
And they're not going to retain it.
They're not going to retain. Yeah, they're not retaining it. They don't really.
As soon as they got, my fault.
They did paperwork. They learned how to do paperwork. I mean, a lot of us in school, we learn how to do paperwork. Paperwork is just, I know how to copy the homework from somebody. I know how to copy the classwork from somebody. I know how to turn the assignment in late. I might fail the quizzes and the test, but if I could work it just right, maybe there's some extra credit assignment or something. We learn how to do paperwork. The same paperwork we do when we become an adult and we got to go into an office or a business and fill out an application for something. It's paperwork. It doesn't really reflect a level of understanding of the concept. So I think in a lot of situations, what should happen is we should cover less topics and go deeper into those topics. So then students will actually get a better grasp on mathematics and these different mathematics topics.
I remember plenty of times that as soon as I would get the concept that was going on, we would be moving on to a new concept. And, I would end up forgetting what I just learned and have to start trying to learn, the new concept. So getting a little bit deeper is probably better for everybody.
I watch my wife with my grandchildren when they come home from school, and she sits them down for about 2 or 3 hours after they get home from school and goes over and into so many other things, like you said, in depth, and it changes. But in school they just don't have the time, and there's just too many kids.
Right. Right.
You just don't have the time to work with each, and those kids that don't get it ain't going to get it unless they get work somewhere else, because in that classroom, the teacher just has too many kids, doesn't have the time. So those kids they get left further and further and further behind. And in which case, at some point, they just say and start talking about something else, start doing other things, know. And it's sad because then we label these kids as bad or non-attentive, and it's not really their fault. It's our fault because we're not doing what we need to do to promote them. But let me say this. Hi, Janice Wilson. How are you? Thank you for being with us.
Okay? JJ, what's going on, Mama? How you?
Okay. All right. So, okay. What else is going on in your world now?
I mean, besides math,
everything
is math. It's all this math.
Yeah. Tell me something. Is reparations math? So I wanted to talk about reparations this evening.
I mean, reparations is definitely math related. The calculations for what's owed, and and also even how to conceptualize that is a mathematical thought process. Because it's really it's about theft. Like how do you quantify theft? I think that's the first thing. And and I mean, for some people are of the belief that Black people shouldn't get reparations or don't deserve reparations. I mean, I think that's bad math. I think that's a mathematically unsound position. Because like I said, it's theft, and it's about labor. I mean, but then at the same time, you can't really. It seems like something related to calculus because you're talking about infinite values. Because you can't really. You can put a dollar amount on it, on the experience of Black folks, but at the same time you can't, because you can't. I mean, you can't.
I can.
You can.
Yeah, I can, and I have.
We can.
I have put a dollar value of $70 trillion.
And so what I would say. So my point to that is that I would even say that the 70 trillion wouldn't even be enough to truly compensate for that.
It would satisfy me.
I hear you.
I'd be satisfied with it.
I mean, that would make sense. But I do think I want us to understand too that there's certain things, certain experiences that our ancestors had and that we continue to have based on through the vestiges of chattel slavery that's still very prevalent to this day, that you can't put a dollar amount on it because it's invaluable. So it's like it's two different ways to do it. But I'm not one of those people that thinks that, well, because it's too much money, you can't put a price on it, that we just, don't get anything. I don't believe it. I don't know.
I'm one of those people. See, I look at it this way. Every Black person in this country should get $1 million each. 1 million each. Okay? So that comes out to about $50 trillion. All right. And then on top of that, as a communal fund, we should get another 20 trillion so that we can apply that money to infrastructure or to whatever the hell we want to apply it to. That's on us, But I don't think I should take my $1 million and have to fix roads. I don't think I should take my $1 million and have to fix schools. That's my $1 million. If I want to go out and buy $1 million worth of dashikis, that's my business, okay? Because it's mine, all right? Whatever I want to do with my $1 million is mine, all right? And, they talk about reparations. I hear some people talk about reparations and they say, well, they want you to prove that your ancestors. No, I ain't got to prove nothing because I didn't do this. We didn't do this. You have to disprove whether my ancestors were here or not. As long as I'm here now and Black as I am, you owe me $1 million. And I look at it this way. You owe any child born for the next so many years or years, and you still owe them $1 million, which would incentivize black people to have more babies. Okay, because we need more babies. Populations are or what make a community stronger. Okay? And they should get $1 million for the next 50 years or so. All right. So, and then that $20 trillion should go into a fund. We can improve our schools. We can build whatever we want to build. We can whatever. That's a $20 trillion pot that we can do what we want to do for. But I hear people talking about, oh, we get $20,000 or $100,000 or you must be out your damn mind. I want at least $70 trillion. And don't tell me you don't have it, because you're giving money away to other people. And you're stealing damn near that much,
Yeah, they just they print money. They just print money.
You know what? I don't give a damn how they get it. I really don't. It ain't my business.
Yeah.
I don't care.
We work to build up taxes to pay to other countries so they can have free education and free healthcare.
This is all the more reason that, it ties into the math, is that, I would want for our people in anticipation and prior to receiving any reparations, I would hope that we have at least a baseline of mathematical proficiency and competency, because if not, it'll be very easy for us to get tricked out of those millions of dollars.
Then trick me. It's my money. If I want to get trick me. It's my money.
I don't think you want to get tricked, though.
I don't want to get tricked. But if I do get tricked, I don't want them to put no conditions on my money.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Give me my money.
I wouldn't advocate for them putting conditions on it, but us as a community among ourselves, I would hope that, we're educating our young people and educating ourselves so that.
But we aren't doing that.
We don't end up like
we have turned that job over to them.
Mm-hmm.
And they ain't going to educate us.
Right. Kind of did it.
But with that $20 trillion fund, we can then build our own. We can build schools so that we begin to teach our own.
That's true.
Okay. I mean, we can use it for that if that's what we decide to use it for. But I don't want any conditions whatsoever put on my money. That's mine.
I mean, at this point, the way the world going, the way white people spreading, is reparations even plausible? I mean, they about to try to take us out.
It's never been plausible.
They about to try to take us out. I mean, I don't even know if that's something that we need to discuss.
Well,
I mean, they're spreading. They're metastasizing.
Who?
White people. And it's not going to look good on people of color, man. From what I understand, they're talking about World War III. They're already in World War III over there. That's what's going on. They're just not announcing it, just not, talking about like we're in World War III. But this world right now is about to be crazy.
About to be crazy. No,
it's about to be more crazy.
This world has been crazy for a long time. A long time. But what you can do. But if the question of reparations ever comes up, that's what I want. If they should ask Kamau Kujichagulia, that's what I want. All right.
Understood.
70 trillion. Okay. What else you got for us, bro?
I can make that number. We can make that number math. 70 trillion.
It was hard. It was hard because I was trying to multiply 50 million black people by $1 million, and I came up with, I think it was 2 trillion at first. I know it was 5 trillion. I said, yeah, that's good. That's good. And I said, well, that don't sound right. It took me about 2 years to figure out it was 50 trillion. I said, well, they say a little bit. That's 5 times 10 to the 6 times. and it just messed me up, you know. But I used to enjoy that. Just math was my favorite subject. I used to enjoy it. I used to play with it. I used to just play with math. You know, I remember I used to. This was back when the space program first started. I used to calculate when it was splashed down in the ocean. You know, and I'd be within a few seconds of when it actually splashed down in the ocean. I just used to play with mathematics back in the day when I was a kid.
I don't think I'd be able to figure that out.
But then I missed trigonometry when I was in high school. And when I went to college, I went right into calculus. No, you can't do that. I wouldn't advise that.
Oh, somebody else that had that experience. They never took trig in high school, and then they got put into a calc class.
I took it.
Yeah.
I just wasn't there for it. I can tell you now, son, I wasn't there for it.
I took calculus in college, and I had never taken calculus before. I went to calculus, showed up 3-4 days late to class, went into the classroom, and there were not numbers on the chalkboard. There were words, and I was lost. I went straight to the registrar's office and had to drop calculus real quick.
Hey,
No,
it's a totally different world. It's a totally different world, and I don't know how we can prepare the masses for that leap. I don't know.
I think one thing to do is, to help prepare parents.
Yeah.
The resources that I have, like the channel and also the book, How to Use All This Math Volume 1. I think there's a lot more that parents can do, but I think resources to the parents and guidance.
Yeah.
Oftentimes when people are critical of Black parents, that's it. They're just critical of Black parents, and they're not offering resources at the same time. So I decided that I didn't want to be just critical, wanted to offer resources. Now, if you don't use the resources or you don't see value in, trying to, improve your ability to help your children, then it's nothing I can really do for you. But, there are people out here that, with the proper resources, they would do a lot more than what they're doing. And also we gotta also, while we say that, we gotta also consider the fact that the society that we live in and the way the society has always been is that, we've been all conditioned to outsource education, the responsibility of education to the government, basically, or to a private institution, to a private school, and that actually that benefits the society, that maintains the status quo, because so we also have to fight against that, that the fact that, because it's the same, a lot of times you'll have teachers that work in schools that will be critical of Black parents for not being more involved, and not realize, those same teachers don't realize that the school actually, the way it, positions itself, and even the teachers, like the teachers oftentimes have an attitude that I have the degree, or I have 2 degrees, I have the content knowledge, therefore I'm more qualified to teach your child than you are. Parent hearing that and being indoctrinated in that way your whole life, even since you were a child, because your parents might have had the same experience and you went to a school that kind of had that posture. So now you become a parent and you kind of feel like the same way. And it's like, it's a contradiction, because on the one hand, you're telling me that I should do more for my children, which I think we should. But at the same time, it can be confusing, because everything that you're, in terms of how you posture and how you present yourself as a school institution, you're making it seem as though I can't do anything for my children, and I'm not qualified to do anything for my children, and only you are qualified to provide what my children need. So I think we also have to put that out there in the open and have a larger conversation about those, because what do we could call them maybe microaggressions. There are microaggressions that schools partake in where they subtly imply to especially Black parents, especially Black parents that are poor or maybe working class that may not have a lot of formal education. There are a lot of ways in which schools attempt to marginalize and discount not only just the humanity of these parents, but their ability to educate their own children. But at the same time, complain about the parents when the parents aren't doing the thing that basically communicate that they can't do anyway. So I think we got to address that at the same time, because that's something that I don't see being discussed. Like when I see like different memes on social media or different like videos and whatnot. And like a lot of times the schools aren't very inviting. And you think about a lot of teachers, and I've worked with some good teachers in my time, and I've worked with some teachers that couldn't teach their way out of a wet paper bag. So some of these people, if Black parents actually did the things that they claim they want Black parents to do, which is in terms of being more involved, being more aggressive and assertive with their child's education, these people would be held, some of these teachers that are very low quality would be held accountable in a way that would stress them out even more than they're already stressed out, because they'd have to actually work. Because there's a lot of teachers and a lot of veteran teachers, not just early career teachers. There's a lot of veteran teachers out here that are just stealing money. They're getting a check every 2 weeks. They're doing the bare minimum. So then you say, okay, well, if all these parents are like now more involved. So I just be sitting back listening to the arguments and listening to what these guys are saying, and I'm like, I don't think that's what you want. I don't think you want these Black parents to be more involved. Because if the moment these Black parents get more involved, now that means you got to do your job. And I don't think you do your job. I think you got a little sweet deal going here. You come in, you write the notes on the board, have the kids copy them down, get a little quiz out every day, and then that's that. And then, you're not developing their critical thinking ability. You're not having conversations with them, deep discussions. You're not developing their, ability to think and ability to process information. You're not dealing with higher order thinking skills at all. You're dealing with rote memorization strictly, right? And you're doing the bare minimum. And, if parents start being more involved, then the parents will be in a position to start to challenge you and say, look, my tax dollars are paying for this. So because my tax dollars are paying for this, I want my child to experience something different in this class, whether it's a world history class, U.S. history class, African-American history class, Algebra 2 class, Algebra 1 class, Spanish class, chemistry class, biology class. I want my child to have a different experience now. So now you got these parents coming that way. I'm like, are you sure that's what you want? That's all I'm saying.
Right. Because that does seem like a lot of work.
When I hear these complaints, and I mean, I think parents should do that. But I'm on the side. I think parents should do that. But I just hope that, I think if that does happen, the hypocrisy will be exposed. It'll be exposed because now it's like, oh, then it'll be another complaint. Like, oh, these parents want too much. You asking for too much. Oh, but you just said you wanted us to be more involved, though. So which is, I thought you wanted us to be more involved. Now we're more involved, and now you got to work harder, and now you got to actually, make better lesson plans, and you got to actually be a more reflective practitioner, and you got to do all this stuff that, which is related to the classes that we took in grad school when we got our MEDs and all that, right? You got to actually do that stuff now, right? So which is, so these are just the things that come to mind. I hear a lot of the conversations about that are very critical of Black parents, and like I say, like I'm all for it. Like I want our people to be more involved. I want us to have our independent institutions, independent schools that we control, that we own and operate and run. The way we see best fit. In the meantime, our children are in the public schools. It's like Imam Jamil Alameen, formerly H. Rap Brown, said, any institution that you don't control can be used as a weapon against you. These schools are used as weapons against us. So we just got to make do. Our children are behind enemy lines. So we got to make do, make the best of it. And hopefully there's some entities and some support systems, outside of the school, or even within the school. Some people that have been able to infiltrate the schools and be able to provide, quality education and support for the children while they're there in those spaces. So that's what I hope for. But yes, it's very interesting. A lot of
I could tell you some stories about when my kid was going to school. and I got highly involved with the group of parents. And the pushback that we got from the education community, but I don't want to get into that. So
Exactly.
we have to get out of here. We have to
The history belies that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, cause I've read about that history, some of that history around the country, and I've seen like the fights that go down when black parents get involved. So then that's why it shows me that like a lot of these teachers that are making these complaints, a lot of these teachers that get famous on TikTok for making these videos, that get famous on Instagram for making these videos, basically just being critical of black parents, poor, less formally educated black parents. I'm like, you don't know your history, because this ain't what you want. Like, what you complaining about is not what you want.
My dad actually started a parent center in Trenton education, and from what I understand, he kind of took it to the Board of Education, and they kind of resented him for it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
But resentful or not, we did what we had to do.
Because it goes against the idea. The framework is, give us your children. We're going to educate them. We're going to school them. We're going to socialize them. Let us do what we do between the hours of 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. And you mind your business. We'll call you if we need anything. It's not a culture of partnership.
No, it's not.
It's
not at all.
It's about school as the institution that knows better.
Hi, Mina.
You as a parent, you're seen as somebody that doesn't know any better. You don't know what to do for your child, and to be honest, a lot of parents haven't been developed in a certain way, but
that's true.
Don't develop them, So I think we should take it upon ourselves to, have programming in the community to help develop our parents, so that way our parents can become the primary educators and the school becomes secondary.
Right.
Get out of the kind of framework where the school is the primary educator and parents are secondary at best. I think we got to revert. We got to flip that.
Well, I don't know if I want to be the primary in there. I don't want to do that either.
You got to be the primary.
I got to work. I got a job. I depend on the school being the primary and me being the main support for them. But they don't want support. They just want to, like you said, a lot of them just want to collect their check.
So I think that's where the community comes into play. So like at work, somebody else in the community can step up, and somebody else in the community can step up, like different groups. I think it's got to be, I guess, a real life, real time manifestation of Ujima. Collective work and responsibility. The community's got to take their responsibility, and we got to work as a collective, to provide for the children in the community and the young people, and not just the young people, but the other parents, so that the other parents can provide, be able to provide for their children. Because anything any one child does is going to affect everybody anyway. So it's like this old, as I got older, like I started to hate that cliche when people would say, what I eat don't make you shit. Like, actually it does. It does, because it's gonna affect what I do is gonna affect you some kind of way, because we live in a community. Like, like the child, like.
Okay, well, I think we got to go on that. Okay, because it's that time. All right, brother. We appreciate having you here, and whenever you want to come on and tell us more about what you're doing in the field of math and how you're helping our community with your work with our children, let us know, and we'll be here for you. Okay.
Appreciate it. Good seeing y'all again.
All right, brother.
Akil, no doubt, brother. Thank you for coming back, man. We appreciate you. Akil Parker, all that math.
Yeah, we have. They get in touch with you at this address, right?
All this YouTube, all this math on all the socials, and check us out. Allthismath.com is the website. If you're interested in math tutoring, you can go check out the website. Fill out the contact form on the website.
Okay, that sounds great. All right, brother. Take care of yourself.
Brother, we appreciate you.
All right. Uh-oh. Where's Alan? Where's Michael? Okay, son. This is, again, it's been very informative. And I guess we'll have to say goodnight for now, right? I want to thank.
Brother Parker got a lot to say, man, but
He
you know,
does. He does. You know.
that information is definitely needed.
So. Okay, let's get out of here for a night. I want to say thank you to everybody who joined us this evening and will join us on Facebook. If you haven't subscribed to our Facebook page, please do that. And I guess we'll see you next week. We love you. We love you. And much peace. Peace. Nah, there ain't no peace because there ain't no justice yet. So, no justice, no peace.
Everybody, you guys have a good week, and we'll see you next week on
I
the
didn't even
case.
talk about Gaza, did I?
No.
Some shit going on there. We're going to talk about that next week, all right?
We're on the case with Kamau Kujichagulia.
That's me. All right. Good night now. Take care. Love you.